Hello and welcome to Patched. I'm your host Paul James. Today I'm joined by Matto Phillips. How are you, mate?
Oh, great. We're finally free to do whatever we
Oh
want.
yeah, the real world. Um, I've
Unless you're an
almost forgot what that was all
unvaccinated,
about.
yeah, unless you're an unvaccinated scumbag, you can stay inside.
Yeah, but you brought it on yourself. You got yourself to blame, so suck it up. If you don't like that, viewers or listeners, bite me.
Always.
Um, anyway, downvote. You can't be worse than the guy that was trying to downvote things recently. That went real well for him. Anyway, people, if you want to learn more about that, social media will answer everything for you.
Yeah, Craig Kelly.
Today, yeah. Today we had no idea for a topic, so we bounced some ideas back and forth and decided that because everyone is talking about Halo at the moment, everyone's super excited about Halo at the moment. It's the biggest game in the world right now, multiplayer, and everyone's jumping into the beta, and the release date for the campaign's not far away. Player 2, along with heaps of outlets, just had a preview for the first 4 chapters of the single player. There's all sorts of awesome stuff going on for Halo at the moment. So we thought we'd talk Gears instead.
That's one reason everyone's talking about it. Second reason is I haven't played any of them.
Yeah, I reckon that's something we can do at some point in the similar way that you're going and playing Dead Space and the like.
No. But this is the thing, right? I was going to do like a full player 2 plays of it.
Oh,
I
nice.
I already had a name for it. It's called, because I got Doomslayer Strikes Back
Yeah.
and No Pain No Gain. This was going to be Halo. Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah, okay. This definitely needs to happen. We're going to start prepping awesome thumbnails now. If you, the audience, have got some ideas for that, please send them our way. So what we're going to do with Gears, since we're not talking Halo today, Matto's going to correct that oversight at some point, is we're ranking them all. Not every single game. Matto hasn't played Tactics.
Fine.
I'll drop that into my list. There's one other Gears game that I'm not going to reference beforehand that I've also played that I'll just drop in there. Matt, I'm supremely confident that you haven't played it, Matto, so don't worry, this is not going to screw you up in any way.
Is that the pop one or the
Yeah,
mobile
yeah.
one?
Yeah, okay. So let's get that
Oh,
shit
I
out
was,
of
I
the way.
was, yeah, I was doing
the
I was doing
worst
some
game in the
research
Gears
today.
franchise is Gears Pop. I still had a bit of fun with it until I hit that wall with like, give us your money, please. All right, I'm out. See ya.
That's how they get you. Like,
That's
oh,
how
you
they get
enjoyed
you.
it?
Not
Give
me
us your
though.
money.
And now I think it's
No,
dead.
yeah.
I think the game is just being ripped off stores because it's just dead in the water.
So everyone got to that point of, give me money. Like, nope,
Nope.
no thanks.
Everyone stopped. So they're like, well, this is losing us money. Let's stop. All right. So we're going to rank the 6, I guess, core games, the third-person shooters, because, yeah, Pop's in there. That's dead last. Tactics, I'll just slide in where appropriate into my list. But you haven't played either of those two. And so we're just going to focus on the third-person shooters, I guess, the bread and butter for the franchise. Matto, you can kick us off with what you deem to be the 6th best, or, I guess, the worst Gears shooter.
Or this could be a or type of thing, but my worst Gears game is number 4.
Okay. I don't agree, but
There is some,
I can see
yeah, I
it.
know, but for me, there's some reasons. Like, one, the story is it's very average. It's like it gets to an
it's
exciting point, and then it just goes bang, cuts dead. And like,
It's a Force Awakens. That's
What-
what
what the hell?
they had a Force Awakens moment, which Force Awakens is good, but it didn't quite hit in the same way here.
yeah. And then the second thing is that the new main characters that you have, they're a bit boring. Kate's probably the best one out of all of them, but you got James, who's just, well, we know who James's dad is, so we pretty much don't need to
Yeah.
know the backstory on James. We already know. It's obvious.
He's Marcus's son. That's all that matters, right?
Marcus' son, that's all that matters. Then you got Dell. Dell's a cool guy.
Dell's
but
cool.
Dell's a cool guy, but it's just he feels a bit boring, old Dell. In the
Well,
fourth one. I'll just
Yeah,
say in the fourth one.
Yeah, they were pretty basic and bland there. They really blew them wide open in Gears 5, and we'll get to that game later on. So,
And then I think the other problem is too that they just kind of forgot about the others,
yeah, right.
like Cole, old Beard, Sam, like the old people from Gears. They sort of just brought him in at the last minute at the end of the game, and then that was it. Marcus was there for majority of it.
Majority of
and
it, yeah,
that's when
probably
things,
80, 90%.
and that's where things got exciting when Marcus came back into it.
Yeah.
Because things started to get real when Marcus came in.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know if you agree. Like, the gameplay and everything was good. Like, the gameplay
Oh
was
no,
the
gameplay was
refinement I was
great.
looking for. It was, like, the moment-to-moment was pretty sweet. But yeah, the story didn't really go anywhere for the most part. And when they finally did start kind of teasing something was interesting, they stopped it. And it cut to what was ultimately
I say the
something we saw in
gameplay's
Gears
great,
5.
but the gameplay's great. But they've had 4 games to do it to make the
Yeah.
gameplay great. It's just everything else just fell a little bit flat
Yeah.
for
That's
me.
fair.
For me,
For me, my number 6 is Gears Judgment, which I've got a feeling that maybe our 5th and 6th might have interchanged. It could be, I could be right, I could be wrong.
oh, we did talk about this to see where we were going to sit, and we thought, is it going to be the same? Is it not? I said that I reckon the top part might be similar, but I reckon the lower half, I would say, is going to be very interesting to see
Yeah, okay.
where everything ranks.
I mean, out of interest, is Gears Judgment your next one?
No.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, so I won't steal too much then. But yeah, for me, it's Gears Judgment. It's just, like, there's some really cool aspects to it. People Can Fly were the ones that developed it, so it wasn't Epic and it wasn't the Coalition these days who are overseeing it. And they introduced some cool little systems. It was a bit more arcadey in some senses, which was kind of fitting given, like, Baird was your lead protagonist in the game, and like, it had a bit of style and personality, and that was all cool. But it was meant to be a side story, and I'm all for side stories, like or spin-offs or prequels or any of those sorts of things. Like, that's all fine with me, but you've got to do something with that, and they didn't really. Like, it was a lot of fun, it was, loud and whatever, but they just didn't really deliver anything beyond that. And so I just kind of played it and moved on with my life and didn't think too much more about it from that point on. I guess that maybe says everything about it for me. It's just, I felt nothing when I played it.
Oh, fair enough. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. How about you for number 5 then?
Number 5 for me is Gears 1.
Yeah, okay.
But it's nothing bad. It's the first game. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, I mean, the story was good. Gameplay for that time was pretty good, like the covering system and all that. But I think the more you play it, the more you start to figure out, you look at it and go, nothing's really changing. The scenery just feels a bit the same as you keep playing through.
It was that 2006 to 2010 sort of window where just and I guess Gears 2 kind of changed things a little bit, but where everything was just grey and brown, and
greyed
drab
out,
and depressing, and like that was Gears 1.
And then you see the remastered or the remake. It's colourful.
Just a little bit.
Add a little bit of colour. Just look at it and go, hey, I don't remember this being so.
The lighting was better, so it made things look a bit more real, I guess. But yeah, it was all just grey and brown and a bit depressing.
All grey. It's like everything you go. The buildings, grey. The ground, grey. Your enemies, grey. Your suit, grey.
Yeah.
That
Your
tree,
guns, grey. The
trees, grey.
Covered in ash, so they're grey.
Yeah, grey. Everything was just grey.
Yeah. With brown and hints of yellow, and that was about it.
Hammer and Dawn was the only light in that game, pretty much.
You don't see it very often.
You don't see it very often. It's a hint.
So my number 5 is the game you've already mentioned, Gears 4. So, I guess kind of echoing a lot of what we've already said. It just didn't really hit the mark at all when it first came out there. Like, it was nice to see some new characters, and I really distinctly remember when they first debuted at E3 years and years ago, and what were they? The Leapers? No, like it was kind of that almost cat-like thing. Like, it had a big kind of long curled tail. We see them in Gears 5 as
like
well.
Leeches,
I've
the leeches or something.
Yeah,
it starts with an L. I do know what you're talking about.
And but they're big, like fat cat style things. And they jump up on top of the cars and they start shooting things out of the tail at you, or they can come up and they can melee. They've got all sorts going on.
They take people and eat them.
Well, no, there was those big ones that kind of
carriers. They're carriers.
They're the carrier ones. But yeah, like they were really cool, and like they pitched it a lot more like Gears 1, which kind of had horror aspects to it. And then they just, like, that was there very briefly at the beginning. Like, they showed the very beginning of the game before, as you referenced before you even find Marcus. And so that first, I guess 45 minutes, I was actually really excited. But like, it wasn't the best executed, but I was like, okay, totally, like I like this. As we get further into the game and we learn more about who these characters are, I'm going to start to really get invested in this and maybe be a bit spooked by the kind of horror sort of aspects that I'm trying to lean back into. And then Marcus appeared, and as much as Marcus was super cool and it became more of a Gears game, it also lost that style that seemed like they were going for, and it just became old school Gears, and so it just was a kind of poorer version of the 3 games that we'd gotten before.
Yeah, it really did feel like a letdown. Just all this big excitement and this, and Gears is returning, and then they just did that.
Yeah,
like I said at the start, I got excited. Like, you see all the villages and see what's happened in the past 20 years of the events of
everything post Gears 3,
and then villages get attacked, and then you sort of go back. And then they're on the run from the COG anyway, if I remember correctly.
And then not quite at that point. No, they're still with the COG at that stage. At the beginning of 4. Yeah.
Oh, because I thought they were getting chased by him.
Oh, actually, no. Shit, I can't remember now.
I think they're getting chased by him for some reason. I can't remember.
Actually,
like I said, it's one of those games I really pay not a lot of attention to. It's just one of those games just go, whatever. And carry on.
Yeah. So for you, what's number 4?
Number 4 for me is...
4?
Gears 4.
Yeah.
We're up to 4.
Yep.
Number 4 for me is Gears of War Judgment.
Okay, there we go. So we've ticked off... Yeah, okay.
The first 3 have all mixed around, but
we got there.
I think I was a little bit different with you. For me, I thought, it's not bad. I didn't mind it. I think because being it is a prequel game, it's sort of... Prequel games are hard to pull off. I know it was done by a different developer. It wasn't Epic, I don't think.
No, yeah, people can fly with the developers. So the ones who did Outriders this year, and they did Bulletstorm back in the day, and all that sort of stuff. So they're a good team with good pedigree. That's why the game felt so good to play. But yeah, go on.
I think it's just one of those things. It doesn't have Marcus Phoenix. It's not really gonna hit too well. But it did have some familiar faces in it with Cole and your main character, which was a very interesting choice, I would have thought, because considering in 3 you play as Cole for part of the game, or a little game.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was actually playing 3 today because out of all the 6 there, 3 was the one I couldn't remember much about because I only played it once.
Good on you. Like, we were talking, like, we made this topic up like 2 hours ago, and you've had time to play Gears 3 since.
Yeah, I thought, well, since I have fast internet, no problem. I can download it.
Yeah, right.
Play it. Just get a feel for it, but we're not talking about that.
Look at you in the 21st century.
About time. Unfortunately, for some people who went back 2 centuries.
Matt Houston's not coping too well, but I think his satellites arrived, so I think he's going to rejoin us soon.
He's come back he's gone back to the future and then come back.
Yeah, modern day again.
Modern day, back to 1985 or whatever it is. But but I didn't mind it. You sort of get it's a one-off thing. I think the more exciting part was like the aftermath of 3 when you go see your old friend.
Yep,
see what happened there. Because you look at it and go, oh wow, this looks way better than Judgment, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever because they're the same game. Yeah,
it's all odd. So my number 4, I guess, now completely rounding out what we're talking about for, my number 4 is Gears 1.
Gears 1.
A lot of the reasons you were talking about, like, it's just, it was their first crack at it, so, things were great for what they were.
Yeah. And then the other games
improvements come since.
Yeah.
The Krill, cool, but a bit frustrating, kind of the way you had to, cover the birds. The black birds just rip you to bits if you step out into the shadows at all.
Yeah, you had to use shoot the bloody gas bottles so you didn't get shredded to bits.
Like, that was all a bit much. General Ram, so the big locust at the end that you have to, the big boss.
On the train.
Is pretty awful. But yeah, I mean, like, it's doing some really cool things. It's just needed a bit more time and polish and improvement, and that came. So, I mean, we'll get to all of that pretty soon, I'd imagine. But I might also just interject before we throw to your number, because now we're down to the top 3. In the middle here is where I would put Gears Tactics. So between my
Oh.
fourth and my third selection, Gears Tactics is fantastic.
Oh, really?
Like I know, like if you're into kind of those XCOM style games and whatnot, and even if you're not, Gears Tactics is still 100% worth playing. Like it's really really interesting. Please be sure to go and check that. It's one of the best games of last year. So
Last year? Did it come out last year?
yeah, it came out early 2020, and then was a
Oh.
launch title with the Series X. So
Oh, for some reason I thought it got released well before that. I must be getting mixed up with
yeah,
old
no, it was like
Gears Go.
March. It was about March 2020, if I recall, and then day one for this for like that was March 2020 for PC, and then it came to the consoles when the Series X came out. It was kind of the extra launch title. All right, number 3.
Oh, now this is going to get interesting to see what happens between these.
Well,
So
yeah, I guess for everyone watching and listening, that leaves us with 3 choices: Gears 3, Gears 2, and Gears 5.
So my number 3 is Gears 3.
All right, we're off to a good start. We're united in that one.
Yeah, well, because it's the one I can't remember the most, but I was playing it today, and straight out of the gate, I was like, "Oh, this is great!" It's a 10-year-old game I'm playing. I'm thinking, it feels good,
Yeah.
like just the shooting and everything about it. That's how I remember like that you play as Cole, because all I was doing with Cole was trying to find the hat.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, "Oh, where's the hat?" I can't remember where the hat is. I found it, a different hat, but
Oh, we always find the hat eventually.
and you always got to put it on backwards. It just doesn't seem right for Cole to wear a hat forwards.
Front ways,
For
no,
me.
no. I'm with you.
It's also like the same person. Forgot what her name is. Claudia Black, who plays
who plays
Sam.
Chloe
Yeah,
in
Chloe
Uncharted,
in
but-
Uncharted. Said dickhead in Gears 3 too. I was just laughing because it just seems it seems to be her thing. It's
just
just
wherever she goes, she calls someone a
so she
dickhead.
says dickhead. She said it in the the Lost Legacy. She said dickhead.
Oh, did she? I don't even remember that.
No, I do remember that because that's the one thing I remember from Lost Legacy. Is she was just saying
Claudia Black
dickhead.
calling someone a dickhead.
I thought it was just a naughty dog
So
thing
Aussie.
because that's all I think from games now. Is just when I hear the word dickhead, it just makes me laugh. Because Ellie said it in The Last of Us. I found it hilarious. She said dickhead. It's when you're in the
Oh,
gymnasium.
yeah, no, I remember that one. Yeah, I remember the last
When you're in
one.
the gymnasium part, she says dickhead or something. I can't remember. I think it's the
It
thugs.
might
I
have just
can't.
been calling someone a dick. It may not have been a dickhead.
It was like one of the I don't know.
Because
I can't
like,
remember. It was
Joel's
like
kind of dragging her away. It's like, but he's a dick.
But no, I think she like
getting
jumps
around
on someone and stabs him. I can't remember. It's not the Fireflies. I think it's someone else. It's not the the clickers or anything like that. It's like that
Yeah, it's just
gang
a
of
person.
people. Yeah, but she definitely says dickhead. I do remember that.
Nice. But yeah, Gears 3. I guess maybe my other half of it, since I selected it as well. It's just like it's at least from that period, it's the most complete Gears in terms of the shooting. Obviously, everything was refined to a polished sheen. Horde 2.0. On the multiplayer side was like people were just losing months at a time to Horde, and 2.0 just really upped the ante even further. The inclusion of the Lambent and just the way you have to fight them versus the standard Locust was interesting. It wasn't a huge difference, but it was subtle enough. And then just the way that
You have
story
to be like, yeah, you don't want to get too close to him because otherwise you're going to cop the
just get exploded, like the
exploded
acid kind of
on
explosion. Yeah.
that whatever that liquid
The emulsion,
is.
the emulsion.
Emulsion.
Yeah, if that hits you, that's not ideal. So, like, and because you find yourself in encounters with both, like that would cause you to really have to adjust the way that you're fighting on the fly, which was really really cool. And the way that like the story finally came to an end was pretty epic. So, big fan of Gears 3, but clearly not the best game from the initial trilogy, as is now abundantly clear to everyone. And let's see if the interest continues. Number 2.
I feel like we're both going to be. It's number 5 for number 2.
Yeah, okay, so our top 3 is exactly the same then. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Gears 5.
if you put to be honest, if you put 5 above 2, there's something wrong with you, in my opinion.
Well, that's only because Gears 2 is so incredible.
Yeah. But everything
Not,
about
not, a,
Gears,
not a crack at Gears 5, because Gears 5 is awesome.
no,
It's our
no,
second
Gears
best one.
5, like I said, Gears 5, the combat is great. It's probably the best
The best
out
it's
of
been.
all of them by a long way. Like even the melee, all that gunfire, the weapons, everything is the best. Like we said too, the improvement on Dell, Kate, even James, because
Yep.
when you went because I don't know, it's like the first chapter you're James, then you switch over to Kate, and then things become far more interesting. But it's
And
also the
even the
fact,
decisions you got to make, like there's a big decision at the end of the
yes,
game there that you got to make, which I'm still fascinated to see how they'll handle when Gears 6 comes
the
along, or
sixth one.
whatever they call it. Let's call it Gears Infinite. Because apparently that's what Xbox will do for your sixth entry. Look out for Forza Horizon Infinite in the next few years as well.
Ooh, can't
I
wait.
mean, like this should be Halo 6, Gears 6 would be next, Forza Horizon 6 should be next. It's a thing now.
All lining up. It's also in Gears 5 that they bring in the old team of like beds pretty
Yeah,
much
the
there
old
for the
school
entire
team.
game. Marcus is there, sort of helping you out. Cole's there. Can't remember if Sam was there. Sam might be there. I can't remember. But it's the main three
Yeah, the
that
core group's there.
matters. Core group, and also we could also should put in there too. I forget his name. The guy from Gears Judgment that everyone probably forgot about.
Yeah, I've forgotten him.
I
Who?
forgot his name.
What does he do in Gears 5? Or is he a big? Is it a big
He's the
moment?
guy. He's the guy in the desert. That Bear's old
Oh,
friend.
yeah, okay,
He-
yeah.
He's not a big.
I've
He's not a
kind of
big fan
recalled
of the
it.
cog. Yeah, he's not the biggest fan of the cog and
I
everything
mean,
like that.
not many in the Gears of War. Sorry, Gears 4, Gears 5 sort of timeline are fans of the COG. Really, the COG are a piece of shit these
No.
days.
Yeah, the big. But the only reason it's at number two because yet again, like four, sort of fell. Like 95% of the game is great, but just that last 5% at the end, it's like Mass Effect. Mass Effect 3, it's really good, and then the end sucks. But it's not as bad as Mass Effect 3. Let's just get that
Do
out
you
of the
not
way.
like it because of the fact that there's that choice?
Not the choice. It's just you find that big monster at the end. Then it's just like, oh, hey, don't worry, I'll do this, and then it just kind of stops. And you kind of know that there's going to be a sixth one. So
Yeah.
and it's just like, but what's his name? Dell. I think his
Dell,
name's
yeah.
Dell, the English guy. I've never hated someone so much in my life. Which I
There's-
say,
They
great
did it on
job.
purpose. There's a guy they really want you
Yeah, I
to
know. Yeah, I know. And I say good job on that because I like when there's actors out there that make me want to hate them so much, and that's their actual role, and they nailed it. I gotta say.
Yeah.
I found out who the guy was. Like, oh, it's that guy.
Wait, who's the guy that does the acting?
His name was it Raoul Coley?
Oh yeah, right. Raoul Coley does it. Yeah, Midnight
Yeah.
Mass recently and a whole bunch of awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Raoul Coley's awesome. I forgot that it was Raoul.
Yeah.
Raoul.
That's what I thought. I thought like this. It sounds familiar. Then I like went on YouTube, did some who plays this, and I thought, no way, it's
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, it was.
It's like it's the complete
I
opposite
remember
of what he
on my
really
Twitter
is.
feed now.
It's like no. I thought no way. I said he absolutely nailed that role. I was like, and then I started to feel sorry for him at the end because depends on the choice you do. Then you're like, oh, poor dude. Now I
Well,
feel bad.
Yeah.
Now and then in 6 we might become best buddies.
Yeah,
And
who
then-
knows?
Who knows?
I am super interested to see what happens. Like, I don't. That's for me. That choice is actually the bit that I dislike the most.
Yeah, same. Like I scratched
Everything
my
else
head
is
out.
great. Like, even what happens
Like, I
afterwards
can-
is fine.
Yeah, I get if you did it to. I don't know if we give it away. If you go with the one,
There's
one
a choice between
one
who
person.
lives and who dies. I guess would be the safest way to do it.
and-
We won't name names, but
And I say if you did it with one particular person, it makes sense. If you do it with the other person, it doesn't really. You look at it and go, doesn't really matter because they just have no impact with everyone else, really.
yeah. And the one that I guess I allowed to die was the one that had the biggest impact on other characters when you return.
Yeah, I did both just to see what would happen, and then there's one choice you look at and go, yeah, I would have done that one just because for a story point of view would have been a lot better.
I just picked the
Going
character that
into
I liked
six.
the most and wanted to hang out with the most, and that meant that a certain other character
Yeah.
was going to be incredibly devastated by the impact of the person who didn't survive. But yeah, I don't understand because now they've got to pick up from that as well, and like anything that they do in Gears 6, if they do the old read your save game sort of thing like Mass Effect or whatever, then they're just going to, I feel like for the most part, just any segment where it could have been one of those two characters, it's just going to be the same thing with a different skin, which is exactly how things played out after that death anyway. If you rewatch both, it's basically the same for the most part.
I figured there's a game that did it not long ago, and I can't remember what it was, but sort of the same thing. It's just you swap one out, put one in, and it's no different.
Yeah, which then
No
kind
matter
of
what.
makes it irrelevant anyway.
It just makes no sense.
Whereas I think back in the day, and I guess this is me PlayStationifying this conversation, but you've already done that with The Last of Us stuff from before, and the Claudia Black dickheads thing. When like Infamous, the original Infamous, depending on your there was two different final endings based on actions and decisions you'd made, and like the game like it didn't affect the ending. You'd have two different, like you'd still kind of have to do with the final boss and all that sort of thing. But in terms of what state the world was in and everything, they looked at the trophy data and saw, oh, everyone picked the good ending, so we'll base, or the majority of people, finish the good ending, because the trophy rate for that one is way higher than the trophy rate for the bad ending. So that's the one that we're going to go with as our thing. Which I mean, even in that sense, that was a little bit shit, because just if you wanted to play a certain way and made certain decisions, well, those decisions didn't matter when you got to the sequel, because they've gone, well, all of these people, we've just said majority rules and moved on. And I feel like that, I mean, you're either going to get in Gear 6 exactly what we said, where it's basically the same cutscenes with a different character, or they're just going to ignore one decision and just roll with it, which I don't know. I feel like neither option is overly good. So I'll be curious. I'm not. Who knows? Gears 5 could slip further down my list depending on what happens with Gears 6, I suppose. But Hivebusters, the DLC was really, really cool. Did you try it, Hivebusters?
Not yet.
I mean, you'll get that free on Game Pass. So
Yeah,
definitely
it is free on Game Pass. Just haven't got around to doing it yet.
Definitely worth it. All right, number one. Why is Gears 2 the best game in the franchise?
Wow, because it's just that damn good. No, it's just like you said, like 1 was okay, but then 2 came along and it made 1 just look like, I won't say rubbish, it just, everything was just improved. Like there was some color in it. There was a bit of improved combat with the whole chainsaw battles.
Yeah,
the story.
Yeah, that was cool.
The story itself.
It's long enough
Pretty
ago
much.
now that we can talk about Dom.
And Dom, yeah,
And
Dom's
Maria.
wife. That was a very sad part. You thought, oh, we found her, and then you see what really happened, and then the aftermath as well. They all walk away, and then you just hear the big bang, and you're just like, oh, it's really sad.
Yeah, I get it, but it kind of turns the knife. Like, it's pretty heart wrenching, the whole thing. So
I know, but I think the whole thing, like, oh, well, we found her. That's great, and then you just see it go
from
grey,
bad to worse.
and then you just see, yeah, it really got me in the feels.
Yeah, no,
I saw
100%.
that. It's like it's one of those things. Like I hadn't played the game for like 10 years, and that still is just embedded into my brain. Just that one small moment, you see, like, oh, that's really sad, and you wonder why Dom's all upset, sad, and emo, and all that stuff. And now you know why.
Yeah,
and then in third, all he wants to do is just grow his crops. He doesn't want to just fight anymore. It's just, and then a sad moment happens in 3. Then bye Dom to save everyone else, because
he's a good bloke.
He's just got into just old fuck it mode. It's like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, which is always an epic moment in any sort of entertainment. But yeah, it's the whole Dom thing's pretty rough. But like, even on the non sort of story side, obviously this is where they first introduced Horde, which was amazing, and I spent hundreds of hours playing Horde. But I mean, do you remember that giant worm sequence?
Oh yeah, when you go inside it.
Yeah, and you have to, at the very end it ends, and like after this giant sequence, and it's been really, really epic, and then it all ends with you guys cutting your way out the side. Like,
after all that time.
Disgusting, but amazing. Jeez, I want to play it again. Can they remaster that just like they did the original?
Don't see why not.
I don't know, unless they're FPS boosts and all that sort of stuff that they're trying to plug. So, no, we've already done it. It's just native now. I'm like, no,
I mean,
give me a remastered one. I'll
if
rebuy
Sony
it.
keeps, I'll say if Sony keeps remastering The Last of Us, I don't see why Xbox can just go right, remaster 1 to 3. Just do
Yeah,
1 to 3.
do it.
That's all you need to do. 1 to 3.
Yeah, do the Halo Master Chief Collection style thing.
Yeah,
The Gears
I
of
say
War Marcus Collection.
it's like we said with the old remasters. It's been long enough. Like Gears came out 15 years ago. The
15 years
first
ago.
one.
This year, yeah.
2006. Yeah. So I reckon it's time for. I know there was that other one that they released. It was just I don't know what you call it, a remaster.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a straight up remaster of the original Gears.
Just do it like what Gears 5 looks like, and just put it with 1 to 3, and it'll look like the best game ever.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I'll shout out Gears 2 as well because just seeing, and this was before the release, but Gears 2 is what got me to finally jump on the Xbox bandwagon.
Oh, really?
I hadn't, 2006 when the 360 first came out, well, we were still year 12, and I was a PlayStation guy, so, and I wasn't working in year 12, I was just completely focused on study and whatnot, so I had no cash outside of the stuff that I'd get to go buy booze for each party, but anyway.
Well, that's all we spent our money on back in those
exactly.
days.
So
it wasn't about gaming. It was just
and now we still spend on booze. It's just that we've got more money, so we can buy games and shit too.
Yeah, we got extra money for games.
So yeah, it was like I didn't really tune into Gears 1 too much. Like I knew it was a thing. I knew everyone was all about it, but I didn't care. 2007 rolled along. I got myself a PS3 and the Wii. 2008. You
had $1,000 lying around.
I split it with Mum. I traded in old game, not EB.
You could have traded in your car.
Yeah,
I could have traded in my car.
If you traded in a PS2 and 20 games at EB, you would have gotten it for $600. At game, it was the PS2 and 10 games. And I had 10 pieces of shit that I could throw out, so I did.
Oh,
I
forgot about
family members having bought, my sister's my Sims and all of that sort of crap over the journey. I didn't tell them until after it was already done that I traded all their games in.
Oh no, for a shiny PS3. But it's
okay.
It's got Blu-ray.
Exactly, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Now you just go rebuy them. They'll be in the pre-owned thing. It'll cost you like $5 each. But you saved me hundreds. So yeah, I got myself a PS3. Mum also then split the remainder with me. So I got a PS3 for, I don't know, like $250, $300 out of my own pocket. And yeah, we got the Wii, and it wasn't until the following year I was seeing all the promos. Now, admittedly, it was Gears mostly, but I was also pretty taken by Fable 2, which came out the same year as well.
Oh yeah, Fable 2.
So I was pretty keen on the both of those, but especially Gears, seeing everything about Gears 2 and how epic it all looked. And I'd already, at that point, because 2007, I guess, was a big deal in terms of me changing things up in terms of the sorts of games I played. I was the JRPG guy for years, still up to that point. And, some action games with Zelda or whatever. But 2007, I played Uncharted, the original Uncharted. And so that kind of opened my eyes to third-person and cover shooters and all those sorts of things. And so then I start seeing all the stuff for Gears 2.
Probably a good start. Right. Probably a good thing you did Uncharted first, then went to Gears. If you went the other way around, I reckon you'd be going absolutely insane.
Possibly. With
the covering and shooting system in Uncharted, which is...
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I'd obviously played Gears 2 by the time that Uncharted 2 came out, and it didn't colour my...
Yeah, but the first one, the first one was...
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Horrible. Yeah. I mean, they improved it on 2. I'll give them credit for that. I'm not... It's like just one. It's just like one especially. I was just trying to do stealth, and you try to hit him over the head, and then about 20 other people come out of nowhere. Like, where the hell did you all come from?
Yeah, now I know what you mean.
I was doing the stealth.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good point actually. But yeah, it was like all the hype, and because I'd gotten that little bit of experience, I'm like, okay, on a gameplay sense, I understand how this works. I'll be good with this. And then everything else was just, it looked really, really cool. I had I started piling cash away. That was also the opportunity as a result that I went and played Halo off the back of all that, because I got my 360 and then I picked up Halo 1 and 2 and 3 because 3 came out in 2007 and played the original Gears to get myself ready for Gears 2. Like it was a whole thing. And I was stoked. So Gears 2 also got me into the Xbox family, I guess, is the other little shout out there.
I think the other thing with Gears 2 is just the ending of it as well. Let's
Oh
say
yeah,
it's been there for a while. Pretty much, you put water into a hole. Let's just say that much.
yeah.
You're like, yeah, I did it, and then credits roll. Then you hear a voice. You're like, ooh, ooh, I can't wait for three. That was the exciting part. It's just it's like, oh, it's so much, it's so long, so far away. Three,
It was a bit weird that like the way he finished it was by pouring water down a hole, but I mean it made sense. They all lived underground. Drown the fuckers.
and then Marcus's dad came on a radio, and you're like, oh my god,
He has a dad
he has
that's still
he's
alive.
he's alive. When was this recorded?
Yeah, now that's bringing back all these memories. Xbox, Microsoft, remaster it, please. Remake it even. Remake all three.
Remake.
Let's
I say,
let's scrap
just do
your
a
remaster
remake.
idea. Let's just straight up remake them all in the
Just
Gears
remake
5
it. Like I
engine.
said, yeah, make it look like Gears 5. Would be the best
The best
trilogy
thing
ever from 15 years ago to now.
Holy shit.
See, just put Grand Theft Auto to shame. Just
Oh, dude, it's not even. Oh, there's an episode in itself about that GTA trilogy. It's just that I haven't played, and I don't know if you have either.
I played a little bit of San Andreas. I haven't found anything. I didn't play it for too long. I just want to see
Yeah.
what it looked like. I didn't go too much further in. Hadn't got to the train part yet because that part just mortifies me every time you fail that goddamn mission.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well,
I
that's
was following the damn train. Smoke.
well, that's the Gears games, all 6 core ones, plus I guess for good measure, Gears Pop and Tactics thrown in there for good measure. That's all of them ranked. Please in the comments or hit us up on Twitter. Let us know what you think. Would you have made any changes? It was interesting. I guess our top 3 was exactly the same, but like you were expecting that section. No, was that the section you were concerned about?
That was the section I thought. No, I think I
we
reckon
might have been the
I
same.
did think that I reckon you and me. I would have thought nah. We both would have had 2 at number 1.
Yeah.
Because we have in the past talked about 2 a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I guess I hadn't thought too much about that.
And,
side of
and
things.
when we talked about 5 a bit as well, I thought, well, it's close to being the best. It's just
Yeah, I had a bit of a coin flip. Everything else was pretty clear cut for me. I had a bit of a coin flip between Gears 3 and Gears 5. Like those two could have swapped spots very easily. But
yeah. As I say, yeah, those 2 they were very close, but I just couldn't remember 3 as well as I would like compared
Fair
to 5 because I did play it this year.
well, yeah, I mean, viewers, listeners, make sure to let us know either in the comment section on YouTube, hit us up on social media or whatever with some of your thoughts about those selections. And let us know if there's any other franchise that you'd like for us to do a similar thing with. I'm sure there's a few that we've probably played in depth. Do you have?
I say, please don't tell us to rank Assassin's Creed.
That was the first thing that sprung to mind.
I thought that
oh my
too.
God.
I thought that too. I did think that too. I thought, yeah, but I
I could
don't
do
want to rank. I could do it as well. It's just,
The only one I
thinking-
haven't played properly is Valhalla at this point.
yeah, me either. So we're on the same boat there.
Let's do it in
No, I'm
6
fine.
months. We'll give ourselves 6 months to
Alright.
finish Valhalla. Sometime
Alright.
next year.
I was gonna say,
2022,
I thought you
we'll
guys.
rank 'em.
I thought you guys say just give us 6 months to try and play through all of them again.
Oh, no.
But-
No.
No,
I'm going from memory on most of them.
Yeah, I say I'm pretty good certain of. There's only a couple I haven't played, but they're like the DLC stuff and the
Yeah,
PS.
yeah, right.
Was it the PC, the Vita one or PSP? I can't remember.
Oh,
There was a
Liberation.
special-
Assassin's
yeah.
Creed 3 Liberation. Yeah.
and
But that kind of can fall in
Freedom-
the tactics sort of basket. I'm not going to.
or Freedom Cry.
Well, that was DLC.
Yeah,
So
I played every other one.
there's some
That,
awesome
that could be, that
Assassin's
could
Creed
be, as I say, that could be like a 2-hour episode.
Yeah, let's wait 6 months before we do that one.
So
We'll-
it might
we'll
take
really
six-
think that through.
I say it might take 6 months to try and figure out a ranking system. Try to figure out
That,
what's
that too. What games actually count for the discussion?
yeah.
But that wraps things up. If you enjoyed this episode of Patch, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. All the buttons down below. Hit the notification bell. That way you're alerted to every new video the moment it goes live on the channel. That includes more Patched, Player 2 Plays, Gamer School, and a whole bunch more. There's some awesome stuff there. Please subscribe and go and check it out. Visit the website, player2.net.au, for reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features,
hold
links
up.
to the podcast series, Patched, the Player 2 Pixelcast, and Dev Diary. Also, and I think you're about to double down on the same thing, so go on.
No. I was just gonna say, check out the new and improved website.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, good. That's exactly what it was. Yeah, like we're shills. We've taken on some a sponsored gig, and that completely financed a site redesign. So Player 2 looks way better now. Go check all that out.
And we have officially sold out to new tech, not pills or gambling or some dodgy CD place down the road. We don't want any of that.
We kept our shillage within the industry. We're not going to be I don't know, selling you God knows what other dodgy stuff. Just wait until our Raid Shadow Legends promo comes up.
Oh, well, that's everywhere.
Patch brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. And then I don't know what I'm going to say after that. Anyway, we're not
Talk
going
about the game.
we're not going
which
to
we're
promote
gonna.
Raid Shadow Legends. Under no circumstance are we going to.
I think everyone else has promoted Raid.
I actually haven't heard of the
Shadow
game in a while now. Maybe it's died.
I
Well,
don't
they've
think
got
so.
everyone they need.
I think everyone's played it, so they don't need to tell anyone.
They ran out of money because they were
played it.
paying too many YouTubers to promote it and didn't
Yeah,
actually get anyone playing.
they went broke. Same, it might be the same thing with old Gears Go. It's just like, hey, you got this far, pay us money. No thanks.
Yeah, pretty much.
But we got to pay all those YouTubers we paid. Oh, that's your fault.
Well, that's it. You're
Too
done.
bad.
We're on. Speaking of financing, we're on Patreon. Patreon.com/player2au. Kick it a few bucks. Lower tiers, early access to episodes. High tiers, monthly episode exclusives. And finally, there's Twitter. Matto.
Matto_Phil.
Paul James Games for me. The website's player2au. And before we go, Matto, how did you adjust last week to seeing yourself on the right-hand side of the screen?
Ah, yeah, it got weird. I thought, hang on, I don't remember having a bookshelf behind me. Then I realised, oh wait, I'm on the other side.
This crazy new future continues. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next week.
New websites, and I'm getting flipped over to the other side.